So, after my interview with my three business professionals, first, my interview with Juan Pablo was very interesting to see the struggles and the misconceptions of what it means to be a CEO. I think everyone wants to be an owner of a business of some kind, but a lot of people are not ready to put in that amount of hours. I think they think that they can make their own schedule and wake up at midday and just do what they want, but it's really the opposite. It seems like Juan Pablo was very much running multiple departments, multiple divisions, and sort of a jack of all trades for his business, which means, while yes, he can decide one day not to work or one day to maybe do show up at midday, it's not frequent and it's not typical because there's so many urgent things that need to be done to keep the business afloat on a daily basis. And that was very eye-opening for me. I know I hadn't really thought about how much exactly goes into play with being a CEO. And in contrast to someone like Lexi Smith, who is working with people who are kind of guiding her and allowing her to just only do one specific thing, which is help people fill out their applications and then enroll them within the health insurance position. So she's not doing any of the underwriting or the customer service or any of the other aspects that go, like accounting and lead acquiring. She's not acquiring leads. She's not doing any of the things that Juan Pablo, for example, would naturally have to do. Owning his own business, he has to be the person who markets his products. He has to be the person who goes and delivers them, sells them. It's all really up to him. Whereas with Lexi, it's more, she can focus on being just a salesman. But the main differences is, of course, in pay, I guess, but in also responsibility and in equity, essentially. While obviously Lexi may be focusing on just sales and getting plenty of sales, she's a very dedicated agent. It's nowhere near the margin compared to where Juan Pablo has, owning his own business, controlling all the profits and being able to control the business practice in that sense as well. And in a similar light, when we interviewed Argemiro Negrete, you could see that he has a mix of both, which is why I loved the interview I had with him, because it was the final third interview I had, and it was very interesting to see how he balanced both not having to be as responsible maybe as Juan Pablo, but definitely have the discipline and the knowledge and the dedication, for example, that Lexi Smith has with the insurance position, because he's an individual insurance agent. So it's basically like he owns his own business, but he's with the support of sort of a brokerage, which kind of guides you and somewhat gives you a little bit of tools, but really at the end of the day, it's all up to you. You buy the leads, you pay for them, you call them, you read the script, you have to, you have to follow up with them, you have to make sure it's a good plan, and you have to stay on top of your schedule, you have to keep on top of all your clients and all the sales, all the money coming in and going out, as far as in that aspect. Whereas Lexi's not paying attention so much as maybe the ratios of, okay, how many leads am I getting compared to the sales? Whereas someone like Argemiro kind of has to, because he's putting his own money down on those leads. And so it was very interesting to see the differences, and at the end of the day, all of them, the similarities, come down to just dedication and putting the time in, really. When asked about how they deal with rejection and how they deal with people who rapidly switch or aren't sure about buying, they always said that the most important thing was just to educate your client. At the end of the day, if they said if you don't get the sale, you don't get the sale, but the best way to potentially get a sale, the best way to potentially keep that client is to educate them and make them feel like you just want to give them valuable information and they can do with that information what they want. And it was just very eye-opening interviews.